Sarawak sits within the island of Borneo, which is part of a Sundaland ecoregion. The island covers only 1% of the land surface of Earth, but it contains about 6% of the biodiversity. It is a very rich island. This is where Sarawak sits. Within Borneo Island is the center of Ditrocarpaceae, a species of trees of Ditrocarps, which is an important commercial timber species for the region. Sarawak is one of the states within the island of Borneo. It covers about 16% of land in Borneo. But Sarawak in itself is also very rich in diversity. To date, we have discovered about 20 species of Ditrocarps that are only found in Sarawak. For example, some species of Shorea are only found in Kapit. In an area in Bukit Sarang Bintulu, there are 5 plant taxa that are only recorded there in that area. So it is extremely unique in terms of biodiversity in Sarawak. Now, however, we do not have a full assessment of the status of biodiversity in Sarawak. We have yet to actually carry out this kind of assessment to determine what is the trend, have we done enough. But let's just take one example, for instance, orangutan. It's a very important species that's very close to us. Ever since 1983 until 2015, in a period of about 30 years, we have increased orangutan protection area from about 168,000 hectares to 221,000 hectares now. So that in itself is actually a significant progress for orangutan conservation. But this is not enough. It's only for one species, orangutan. We should not be contented with the progress of just one species. There's a lot more that we could do. I'd like to cite a publication by WWF called the Living Planet Index, which actually showed that globally, from 1970 to 2010, in a span of about 40 years, 52% of the global population of key vertebrate species have declined. This shows that in that 40 years period, we have lost almost half of the population of key vertebrate species in the world. This is quite alarming. Going back to what we can do now, we have to be cautious about our actions. We do not know what is the current full status of the biodiversity, but let's be cautious about our activities and our actions and make sure that what we do are actually not detrimental to the environment, to the species, to the habitat. Sarawak has actually good laws for the conservation and protection of biodiversity. However, we do not do enough for some areas that do get neglected. There are some smaller areas, for instance, limestone areas, peat swamp forests, that do not get the full attention that's needed. We need to actually focus on some of these key areas that we should identify and conserve them properly. This is where the HCV tools come in very, very handy. It guides us into identifying these key areas for conservation.
HCV is the abbreviation for High Conservation Value. An area identified as having HCV means it has biological, ecological, social or cultural value of outstanding significance or critical importance. There are 6 components or values to HCV. An area identified as HCVs means it has all 6 or at least one of these values. An area with HCV 1s refers to areas containing globally, regionally, or nationally significant concentrations of biodiversity values. This includes endemic species and rare, endangered, and threatened species, both flora and fauna. HCV2 covers globally, regionally, or nationally significant large landscape natural habitats. This landscape contains various of many important species in their natural surroundings. HCV3 refers to areas that are in or contains rare, threatened, or endangered ecosystem and habitats. HCV4 covers areas that provide basic ecosystem services in critical situations such as watershed protections and erosion control of vulnerable soils and slopes. The last 2 HCV cover the social cultural aspect, recognizing the importance of respecting locals' people needs, social norms, and also local rights in sustainable and natural conservation works. HCV 5 is on community needs, while HCV 6 is on the culture's value of the local communities or the indigenous communities from the area's concerns. These HCVs could be identified through various methods, which cover both desktop research and fieldworks. This method requires specific equipment such as camera traps and GPS, and resource persons with relevant skill and knowledge in carrying out flora and fauna, and also the social survey, and using GIS analysis software to conduct the screening works and many more. HCV assessment can be a useful planning and management tool for the timber and oil palm industry. HCV assessments can provide important information for the decision makers from those industry on what kind of actions or what kind of decisions they should make in related to HCV's issues.
Now, we're also happy that Sarawak government has actually put in place some kind of policy, and environmental sustainability is one of the core principles for the long-term sustainable development plan. This is a good move. We now need very good implementation plan to put all these policies on the ground. We need all agencies, all partners, all stakeholders to come together and implement these good strategies on the ground. So this is where we need good consultations with everybody, with the stakeholders, to collectively implement this.
Having a good understandings and good knowledge in HCV will be the key for ensuring good qualities of HCV assessment. Companies can enhance their employees' knowledge and skill in HCV through trainings, make use of HCV mappings, work with other researchers, invest in manpowers and equipments, and also network with others for knowledge sharing.
Well, everyone should implement HCV. Let's do our part to keep our valuable forest well protected. WWF, together with our partners out there, the Forest Department of Sarawak, Sarawak Forestry Corporation, Sarawak Timber Association. Now we have come up together and jointly published this HCV training module. This training module will provide good guidance on how we do HCV assessment in Sarawak.